Come on now. We are live on day three. Day three. We are live. That's it. Hello, everyone. It's been an awesome time on this journey. I don't have the rights to this song, but let me tell you, this song is one of those songs that gets me in the mood. By Travis Green. Travis Green. Travis Green. You made a way. And as our normal practice, we're going to listen to this song and let it soak in. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. How are you? You can't wait. Hello. You wait. Today we're going to be talking about the value of work. Happy New Month once again to those that are just joining us. It's our month to sprout into our purpose. Hey. Yeah, Wale Salami, Madebios, Kenira, I hail you. The value of work, that's what we're going to be talking about. Value of work. By the way, so just in a few minutes, we'll be starting off. We'll be starting. We'll just be starting. We have Sayofu, we have Regu Vibe. If I didn't get that right, Regu Vibe, just say hi. Can you all hear me? Can you all hear me? Yes, 10th planet. Can you hear me? We're talking about the value of work. The value of work. So we wave at those you need to wave at. Can I get a wave? Yes. Come on now. When our backs were against the wall, and it looks as if it was over. That's it. Fade away. And we're standing here only because you made. It's time to start to share and let people come in. This is truly the crux of the matter on this worship series. You may This is a song by Travis Green. I do not have the rights to the song, but it's about God making a way. Made a way. Da, 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 da. Remove mountains. You cause walls to fall. Hey. You perform miracles. There is nothing that is impossible. Standing here only because you made. Yes, I can see someone saying you can't wait. Sometimes you can just put your name so I know who is talking because the platform does not allow me to call you out. Yes. There is nothing. We're starting shortly. Possible. Tunji Alade, how are you? Only because you made you move mountains. Come on. You got one. I see you, Tuji, my brother, Titi Layo, Aisha, the air woman. I see you. Come on. Thank you. Said I have a nice voice. Come on. And we're standing there only because you made. Counting down to starting now. Yes. Only because you made the way. Yeah. Only because you made the way. Hey, the way. Yes, 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 yes. In starting, can we just commit the session into the hands of the ultimate being? Our Father, we've started the session. We ask for clarity, for insight. We ask for instruction and impact so that everyone that is listening and those that will be listening afterwards across the globe will be greatly impacted. Thank you, Father, for in Jesus' name. Amen, 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 amen. The studio is full. Yes, we are here live in the studio. Hello, everyone. So today is day 3 on this workship journey. On the workship journey, and so sometimes people ask me, what is workship? So this today we're going to be talking about the value of work. But before I get into that, so what is worship? We've been on this journey, and for those joining us, the worship experience, the worship, walk and ship, is that conveyor, the ship that takes you to bed at the point of prosperity beyond wealth. Is that point that takes you to, attaining, your ultimate fulfillment, and you are now able, to tap in and experience unusual releases of favor, from friends, from family, even at the workplace, from partners, from visitors, from vendors, and all of that. So today, we're going to be operationalizing the value of work. And before I proceed, for those that also don't know me, my name is Taiwo Adepoju, the startup specialist. And what do? I help people ideate their ideas, their plans, for business, for whatever it is, towards the point where they're able to incubate, and as they move on and we're able to implement towards profit, beyond profit, to achieving the legacy journey, to prosperity. Now, let's have a recap on is day 3, and this journey started a few days ago. So day 1, we went on to talk about the worship, defining what worship really is, and why we're going to be going on this journey, ultimately to bring back work ethics. But beyond work ethics, to say that when you are planted, or somehow when you know your purpose, your positioning, it could be, and ultimately could become, your place of prosperity. And until you come to that point, so you cannot disparage your trade with the understanding that you want to be prosperous. You cannot disparage it. So it's okay, we go to church, we get all the learnings, but the application right now is what we're going to be delving into, to say, look, it's important that you understand, consequently, that you have a role. So beyond the mental, beyond the spiritual intelligence, is that there must be an application. So we said day 2, we progressed on to talk about the custodianship mentality. And everybody has been buzzing me on the custodianship mentality. Lady Adele, you asked me, said, look, yes, you hit it on the nail, you hit the nail by the hair. But the ultimate thing is that, how do we apply? I'm going to be telling you a few of that, and I'm sure that somehow people will plug into our masterclass on the value of work and the application of the value of work. Now, need I say more? On day 3, before day 3, when we went to talk, we went into talking about that work, the reward for work is money. All right, so it's okay if you just feel like, yes, I'm getting paid. So the reward for work is what is money. And we've had people exert their energies working, and they've experienced through some levels of riches, and they've transversed that plane. But we said that the evidence of worship, is what? Wealth. And the reward is prosperity. And so we said there's a thin line between worship and what? Prosperity. But let me not even run ahead of myself. So day 3, we're here, day 3 today, and we're going to be talking about the value of work. Now, so I'm hoping that we're going to tune in our antennas and tap into what we have to deliver today. And so, what truly is the value of work? I'm going to give a bit of a background, but let me also, so that there's a bit of science to this. Knowing that I'm a certified Global Gallups coach. I got my certification this year. I also did my training last year in South Africa. But that's not even it. Is that in that study, Gallup does extensive research on people, on engagement, and you in the lines of fulfilling purpose, achieving your targets or your goals, even in your organization. And we realized that only 30% of the workforce, of an entire workforce, is fully engaged. So what happens is that the remaining 70%, they are not fulfilled. They are only going to work, almost like the example I gave about the guys building the cathedral. So there's a guy that shows up at work and is showing up to build or to go and lay a brick. So he's going there transactionally to just earn income, to just earn money, all right, so earn a wage. But now it also moves beyond that. So there's that guy that goes because he understands how, okay, we need to build the wall. So he has an inkling of what needs to be done. But that's not even it. So there's that guy that also knows that we need to build a cathedral. And we in the custodianship, before we got to custodianship, that is the ownership mentality. So he has an ownership mentality around this is we need to build what? A cathedral. So he shows up, I said, he shows up, and then we're saying, hey, this is, we are building a cathedral. But much more than building a cathedral, which is the ownership of the cathedral, is the custodianship level, where the guy comes into contact with the understanding that we are building a cathedral to have a bigger impact, that transverses beyond time. So it now becomes a citadel of learning and all of that. So that's somewhat of a background around the value of work, and even alongside what some of the things that we set the premise for. So I'll be running swiftly into this because we have limited time. By 12:30, we're out. The value of work, and in relation to what the Gallup study showed, is that there's meaningful work. And in meaningful work, there is great reward. Beyond, so sometimes when people want to define wealth, what is wealth? Because before we start to talk about even prosperity, so riches, you have money. So, but with wealth, we're talking around issues of well-being, the mental, physical well-being. When you show up, nobody needs to set the alarm clock. You're up. It's just like today. I'm up because I'm doing my workship. I'm working in purpose. I understand my purpose, my calling. I didn't just come up with the name startup specialist. No, it's an observation, of know yourself. And so next week we're also talking about knowing yourself, but I'll talk a bit around that. So in knowing yourself, you must know your strengths. All right, and then you start to understand the guy, the parable of the talent. So the only reason why the guy could not do anything with his talents was because he did not know how. And so there's some bit of scripture that talks about the labor of fools wearing them because they do not know how to get into the city. Next week, we're going to be talking about the know-how. We're going to be talking about talent, putting your strengths to work. But today, it's the value of work. So let me bring this home, with these 3 background stories around this, and then I move swiftly, to tell you the results of the value of work. So one, so there's this guy, his name is Abdul Rahman. Abdul Rahman he repairs high-tech generators. All right. Now, so imagine a typical situation where this generator has been given problems, and locally people have been trying to solve that problem. And somewhere along the line, this generator, has stopped the production of work in the factory. All right. So they are not only losing money, they're expending money, calling all kinds of people. And then at some point, the managers of that company decide to write the owners. And the owners now say, look, we're selling Abdul Rahman. And in selling Abdul Rahman, it will cost you X, it will cost you Y. All right. So they have a bill of about $30,000. All right, $30,000. And so maybe somewhere along the line, the finance manager, because it's maybe bereft of understanding or does not even value it, he says, why would we pay $30,000 to repair a generator? All right. Now, because he doesn't even understand the value of work. So Abdul Rahman flies in, maybe from Turkey, and then gets into dealing with the generator. And he says, he gets that. Can you crank that? And then he tries to start. And in starting, Abdul Rahman says, give me 10 minutes. And in 20 minutes, he just goes to a knob, presses 1, 2, 3, and guess what? They've been struggling with that gen for 8 months, and guess what? The gen started working. And he says it's done, job completion. I said, no, you want to stay? I said, no, it's done. And people cannot understand it. And then some guys will come and say, in our local parlance, because some people came in from Kenya, South Africa, so we said, so now only what you do that, is that all? Is all you've done to earn this much, and we have been laboring. We have been laboring. And guess what? Abdul Rahman gets paid and is off. Now, that is an hypothetical story. Now, let me tell you about a real life story. And so today, I'm even gladdened because I was privileged to go to an open house session of Green Path Preparatory School owned by my friends, Ronke and Enito. And this is not, we say this is not boo-boo. This is not just talking. We're saying life. So 12 years ago, I went to Green Path somewhere in Garki, in Abuja, in the city of Abuja. And Green Path as a preparatory school started from a kindergarten, this crèche 12 years ago in a flat somewhere in NNPC quarters. I was there to visit. Apparently, that day was one of the head of school's birthday. So I went to present her a gift. And I went on a tour around it. And I saw the insight, I saw the vision, I saw the direction. And I'm like, look, if these people stay this course, they will get something. And so today, I had that nostalgic feeling also as I went through, and I'm going to be posting out pictures, at some point I'm going to be talking about them, and I'm going to be inviting them because we're going to be starting in 2 weeks from now, the CEO Hangout. I have the likes of Laila Ode, I have the likes of Tomi Arami, I have the profitable manufacturer. All of these people are going to drag them in, and you're going to be having that special hangout with the CEO, Taufik, the guy that a lot of people are going to be coming your way. But that's not it. So I get into Green Path, and I've seen that this is work. This is the value of work. The reward for work is not work. But you are seeing the tangible benefits of work. All right? But let me tell you something. That work is work. It's like a flywheel effect, So you start the work now. Almost like a generator. You start the work now, and then after some time, it takes a life of its own. So stay in your place, stay in your purpose. I don't know how to drum this into our minds, but what I experienced today is a couple that stayed their course and they bet. Even a simple, they went on, it's still a microcosm of what they have in mind, but when you get there, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm going to be sharing pictures. Now, I'm going to also give you personal experience so that I can drum this home. All right. My personal experience was when I had to expend about 17 months procuring a mobile payment license. A mobile payment license for about 500 million naira a few years ago. I put my work to it. They had to pay me with shares, and all that. But I had to put some work. I had to work it. I had to work it so that it will work. I had to put work into it. However, this is not just to say, look, we're dropping names or we're trying to, get you all excited. It's to say, look, there is reward for work. And that has been me. We've come into a place where we have misplaced values over time. So it's not unlikely that you hear people, want to talk about the guy that is making money. He seems to be making money, but has no purpose. All right. So we have a plethora of them across the continent, and they're spoilers. So first of all, it also works with you because we started to talk about around the mindset, and get your mindset. But beyond that mindset, the fact that your association is also critical to how well you're able to progress. So I'm going to quickly run through the value of work. And this is like a preamble because the value of work exercise is a masterclass that we will be offering to everyone that is deserving to say, look, I want to be fully engaged where I am. I want to be planted, and I want to experience true wealth or prosperity, as the case may be. Now, there are 11 laws and 11 results of the value of work. But I'm going to be touching about four or three today. So the number one is people. So when you're doing your work, when people know that you are Jinodu or Amaka or Cynthia or Laurel or Lauren or James, where people know that you are good at what you're. So once you're doing that work, people recognize excellence. All right. And so they will naturally gravitate to you. So they will naturally gravitate to you. So you start to connect with people. All right. You start to create relationships. As you create those relationships, you start to have your network that ultimately becomes your net worth. All right. And that's it. Association. So whilst you're doing your work, so people know now, just like Abdul Rahman, they know that is his work. So they will call on him now that Abdul Rahman, they will have the greatest generator fixer, Abdul Rahman, and Abdul Rahman will come and fix it. Or they will now beckon on the lady and the family that I just talked about that just went on with their school. So when it comes to affairs around child preparation, when it comes to education, you know who to call. You know who to call. So I cracked the joke as I was there. I said, look, I almost feel like going back to school because when I got there, I said, if I go through this class or through this school, you're going to be seeing like 10 times a mega of me. Like this is like a microcosm of me. You'll have been seeing a mega time in startup special. All right, but that's just by the way. But the reality is that people create the connection. It's almost like one of the values of work. The second value of work is that you become, and I was talking about the reservoir of value, but and that in this dimension is called a platform. You see, what is a platform? So you hear things like Uber, you hear things like Airbnb, you hear things like Google, people, Facebook, they are platforms. And when you become a platform, as a platform, there was a time, I think, just to interject, there's a time I had an encounter with a friend, and he was telling me something. He said, Taiwo, and this guy is an architect, he's an architect, great guy. He told me, he said, Taiwo, we need to have a platform. Now, not platform in the sense of business model. So if you're a business student and you understand the business model canvas, there are three levels of business modeling, three models. We have service, we have product, and we have platform. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you being a platform, a living sacrifice that can be plugged in. People think that Taiwo should be part of this. Taiwo should be. So beyond even people, beyond even the network, creating your network, is that you become a reservoir of value. That people, when they are plugging plans, they begin to plug you in. You begin to get plugged in. All right. Now, I can't overwork that. So let me also move to the other bit, around progress. So there's this Japanese term that we have called Kaizen, continuous improvement. You see, there's no, and but kind of aptly describe this and name, we got a name around it, 10,000 hours. You see, there's no way you'll be applying yourself to work. And tomorrow we're going to be talking about the opportunity aggregator. You see, there's no way you'll be applying yourself to work. That in doing that work, as you're making your mistakes, you are progressing, you're experiencing value. Now, let me also talk about that guy called the guy called David. All right. So I was talking to my team this morning. I was like, David ordinarily would have. There's no way David would have been, drawn into cowardice by facing Goliath. You know why? We played around that example and we said, what? Is it possible between Goliath and a lion, which one would you run away from? My people said, we're going to run away from the lion. I said, between Goliath and a bear, which one would you run away from? We all agreed that you run away from what? A bear. So David was faced with Goliath. And because he had experience over time, he couldn't have probably been in that capacity of a mega project. But he had a semblance of the understanding as to how to knock, the giants down. In the process of work, when you're doing your work, you progress. As you progress, you begin to have a better understanding as to how to use your work. In fact, in some parlance, they call it the bricolage. Bricolage is, when the hammer can be used for several other things. So if you have used the hammer well enough to nail, all right, it will be foolhardy for you to continue to use that hammer to nail. when there's a need to use something else. All right. But so David said, look, there's a simple principle towards winning or knocking down Goliath, towards taking on challenges, towards starting businesses, towards starting a project, towards being in a relationship. All right. So there's a principle now. There are principles that guide us in this regard. And so what did David do? He said, look, I don't need to even dissipate much energy, because there are things that people have run away from that they are not liking to this. This is small. And so he says, I'm going to use just a sling. All right. And from experience, he knew with precision. And there are a lot of stories around this, but not the superstition. There was precision. And precision was born out of practice. All right. And practice, so he hit the point now. So there's a way that you become dexterous, that it just becomes auto run, almost like the flying effect, that it starts to run. You just see that they are doing it. That people are wondering, hey, what's this guy doing? What's this guy doing? I recall one of those times when late Lee Ilumaru, my former, late Lee Ilumaru was in UB Insurance. And there was a need for us to churn out letters to about 80 financial planners. They needed that letter that day. And I remember being in that room. That's how it work enabled me to experience some progress. All right. So at that point, they were the people that were working on the letters were wasting time. And the financial planners were becoming restless. And at some point, it just occurred to me. I started using the desktop, that's the word processor, even before I got into university, because my mom said, look, you cannot be idle, go and get some. And then we used to do diploma and certificate in computing, word processing. And then at some point, they tell you, you have, there was word perfect, you have COBOL. We did a lot of those programming things there. But that wisdom from that work that I'd been doing in my time had even progressed me. So when that opportunity came, I just told them, I said, there are better ways to do this. And what did I do? So they were churning out 3 pages. And in that instance, it just occurred to me, that all I needed was that the common pages were pages 2 and 3. So imagine when they were rolling out, they would roll out the 1 to 3. So I said, no, stop that. Immediately I gave them insight. I said, can we roll out all the 80 letters, page 2 and 3? They were shocked. We printed out page 2 and 3. We went on again. I said, okay, you know what we're going to do? Just so that we don't repeat the same exercise, can we go on what we call mail merge? This was what I learned before I went to university. I said, so let's do mail merge. And they started mail merge. As soon as they did the directory of all, and they just put insert, the first letter, we achieved this in less than an hour. Amazing. And you know what? What do you expect? My late boss there, just say, Taiwo, this is phenomenal. Not in those words, but you could have seen the joy, and you could have seen that he was proud. He says, this one I'm proud of. I experienced that a lot in my sojourn. People say, we're proud of you. When your master looks at you. I thought not to be humble, not to be arrogant, because I used to be very, very humble. I made sure that in my masters, my leaders, my bosses, I make sure I name them well, so that it doesn't get into my head. The loss of power. Since never shall master. So I constantly call my bosses master. So people didn't understand. It was to sink in that look, we are working, we are worshiping. All right. So the final one for today, and if you want to get more, we're going to be getting our masterclass going on, is the fact around profit. And I don't know how to stress that enough, because why do people work? Look, if the purpose of your work is only money, you have mistakes. And I've tried to, elucidate on a few things around work, at the value of work. And I've talked about 4 areas, there are 11 areas that work helps you, the value of work helps you attain results. All right. But today, for time, because we've in fact run out of time today, and we need to start to hit the road. In closing, as we normally do, we need to exegete on the mystery of the one-line prayer, the mystery of the the one-line prayer. And the mission of the one-line prayer is not a lack of what to say or what to, it's not vain repetition. Is that I came into this truth that if you operationalize just one-line prayer and pray intently, fervently, it avails much. So today, we're going to be praying and saying that we will be engraced with the power to operationalize the value of work. Can we all say that prayer? Engraced with the power to operationalize the value, the power from the value of work. Engrace me, God, to operationalize the power inherent from the power, from the value of work. And when we're done, when we're done, you can continue that prayer wherever you are. Engrace me, O Lord, with the grace to operationalize the power of the value of work. All right, guys, this is running for a month. We are only on day 3. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about the opportunity aggregator. I'm going to tell you how, when in the place of opportunity, I was able to do a supply job to a university in Nigeria, valued in excess of 25 million. So if you change that to dollars, I am sure it will make sense. But I was able to do that without a dime. The opportunity aggregator. You see, at the place of work, when you understand the value of work, you now see opportunities. You see opportunities chasing you. And then tomorrow we're going to be talking about the opportunity aggregator. Guys, if you have not signed up, for the clarity session, we're having 110 free clarity sessions with the startup specialist, Taiwo Adepoju, myself. So if you have not signed up, you need to sign up now, because you see, sometimes much more than a coach, even though I'm a certified coach, much more than a business strategist, even though I've done strategy for the last 22 years, much more than that, you need a specialist. Have you ever seen someone going for an operation around the brain, and then he says he wants to go and see a gynecologist? No, you go and meet a neurosurgeon or someone around that line. You understand? Almost like the richest man in Babylon. You cannot be talking about the guy, you want to start a gold business, and then you start talking to a bricklayer. All right? So for every startup, for every business that needs to get embraced with an opportunity to move, and change levels, you need to talk to a startup specialist. And that's who I am. All right? So I don't even know why I'm even stressing so much time and then saying, look, you need to talk to me. You need to talk. So book right now for your clarity session. Book right now. Send me a DM that, look, I want to have a client, and it's free. And then we'll progress on that. And if it's worth your time, then you want to progress that journey, because you see, everyone needs a startup specialist. Much more than a coach, much more than a business strategist, is what a startup specialist. So, guys, I'm going to be getting out of your faces now. I'm closing with this song by Travis Green. Yes, so it's a great time. Oh, we did well today. We're well within time, even though I wanted to close exactly. But remember one thing: you've got it. You must play to your strength, and wherever you are, walk your ship. All right. Bye.